Do you want or need to write professionally in English? This Georgia Tech Language Institute course, Better Business Writing in English, provides the tools to do just that. It's for English language learners and writers around the world, and it teaches important writing skills for business communications. Each module is designed to help you practice specific writing and grammar skills for business communications, including cover letters, mission and vision statements, proposals, reports, and slide presentations. This course will help you practice and perform so that you'll gain the skills and confidence to write better in English and to meet your personal and professional goals. We look forward to having you in our course.
Hello and welcome. I'm Amalia Stevens from the Georgia Tech Language Institute, and I'm delighted you've joined our course, Better Business Writing. Our first module is Write to Share and Achieve Your Goals. We'll focus on increasing your accuracy and appropriateness in written English, as well as developing a personal voice in your business writing. By the end of this module, you'll be able to apply these skills to writing projects, such as a mission or vision statement or a cover letter. Now, let's begin Lesson 1 on personal voice. In this lesson, we'll identify what personal voice is, why it's important for you, and how to develop your own personal voice when you write. As a business person, you might wonder why you need a personal voice when you write. Today's business world is fast-paced and global. Many business relations begin not in person, but through emails or websites. The information that your customers, business partners, and even competitors read about you and from you must send the right message right away. You want to be sure that everything you write makes the best impression possible and creates a positive image. By developing a personal voice, you send a message about who you are with every communication you write. Your mission statement, your proposals, your presentations, even your emails will stand out. Think about these companies and their trademark slogans. Think different. Just do it. I'm loving it. It's the personal voice of those companies that made these phrases connect successfully with their customers. So, how can you create your personal voice? I have 3 suggestions. 1. Focus on your readers. When you focus on your readers rather than yourself, you think about what they need to know and how you can communicate that information easily. 2. Write actively. Active writing is easy to understand and remember. And 3. Be positive and sincere. Think about how you would speak to your readers and write the same way. Let your readers see your smile in your writing. Let's compare some sentences and look at each of these elements of personal voice more closely. First, focus on your readers. Which of these sentences do you think puts more focus on the reader? While A is about the writer, B addresses the reader and is the better sentence. Use the pronouns that address your reader, you, your, and yours, more than the pronouns about you, I, my, or mine. Always include all the important information your readers need, and be specific about what you expect from the reader. In addition, stress the information that is most valuable to your readers at the beginning of your message, and repeat it at the end. This is a clear sign to your readers that you're thinking about them. Next, let's examine the second part of developing personal voice. Write actively. See if you can identify the active voice in the following sentences. That's right. A is the active sentence. It's easy to understand the action and who does it. The best and easiest way to write actively is to use active verbs. Rather than we conducted an investigation, write we investigated. Instead of we're making plans to develop a new product, write we're planning a new product. When you write actively, you communicate in the clearest way possible. Finally, let's look at the third component of personal voice. Be positive and sincere. Now, I'll let you try again. Identify which sentence you think is positive and sincere. While it's important to be polite, you don't need very formal language, too much humility, or unnecessary expressions. Your goal is to express yourself positively and sincerely, and to treat all your readers equally. This means that you avoid language that discriminates against readers in any way, including their gender, age, race, or background. So let's review. In this lesson, we looked at 3 key components to develop a personal voice when you write. Focus on your readers, write actively, and be positive and sincere. To focus on your readers, you address them directly and let them know they're the most important part of your business. To write actively, you use active subjects and verbs. Finally, to be positive and sincere, you write naturally and treat all your readers equally. Now that you've completed this first video lesson, I encourage you to take some time to review the resource and practice materials so you can begin to put what you've learned into action. I'll see you in our next lesson. Welcome to our next lesson in Module 1. In this lesson, we'll look at different sentence types in English and how to write them. The reason why it's important to write different sentence types is because this makes your writing more interesting to your readers and holds their attention. Sentence variety also makes your writing easier to read and understand because it helps your readers see the connections between ideas. Let me give you an example. We'll compare two short paragraphs. As you read through them, choose which one shows a better connection between the ideas. We started our business in 2012. Today, we work with customers around the world. We are internet-based. Our customers find our products convenient and affordable. We know our customers' needs. We know how to serve our customers. We started our business in 2012 and today work with customers around the world. Because we're internet-based, our customers find our product convenient and affordable. We know what our customers need and how to serve them. In paragraph 1, all the sentences are the same type and each idea seems to exist independently. Paragraph 2 has different sentence types, which create relationships between the ideas, so it's easier to understand the connections between them. So in order to write more like paragraph 2, in this lesson, we'll learn how to write 3 sentence types: simple, compound, and complex. Now, although the focus of this course is on better business writing and not grammar, I'll be using certain terms, such as these sentence type names, as tools to make it easier for you to understand this lesson. All terms I use are typical for English writing lessons and English writing textbooks, so you might find them useful when you pursue more English practice on your own. Let's take a closer look at the 3 different sentence types. The first type of sentence we'll look at is a simple sentence. Simple sentences are one independent clause or group of words with a subject and verb. Independent clauses are subject and verb combinations that make sense. You can write them 4 different ways using multiple subjects and verbs. For example, ABC Company markets handmade objects. ABC Company markets handmade objects and sells them around the world. ABC and XYZ market handmade objects. ABC and XYZ market handmade objects and sell them around the world. Now we'll look at the second type of sentence, the compound sentence. Compound sentences are 2 independent clauses joined together with conjunctions, semicolons and transition words, or semicolons alone. The most common conjunctions or connecting words that writers use in compound sentences are and, but, or, and so. Your order has arrived and we'll ship it by the end of this week. Your order has arrived, but I have a few questions to ask before I can ship it. We can ship your order by Air Express, or you can choose a different shipper. We work with a variety of shippers, so our customers can receive their orders quickly and efficiently. In addition to conjunctions, you can form compound sentences using semicolons and transition words. Some of the transition words writers use to form compound sentences are therefore, however, and as a result. This is how this type of compound sentence would look. You demand quality. Therefore, we use only the freshest ingredients. Your business may be across the world. However, we'll treat you like neighbors. We treat our clients like neighbors. As a result, they value our service. To add variety, you can connect sentences using only semicolons. Your order has arrived. We'll ship it by the end of this week. You demand quality. We use only the freshest ingredients. Let's try combining these two simple sentences to make compound sentences. Considering the relationship between these two sentences, let's first try using the word but. We have customers around the world, but our only office is in Atlanta. This time we'll try creating compound sentences with a semicolon. The new sentence could look like this. We have customers around the world. However, our only office is in Atlanta. Or you can use the semicolon like this, without the transition word. I'm going to give you another pair of sentences. This time, I want you to try and combine them into compound sentences using the three ways I introduced just now. Good job! Now, before we move on to writing complex sentences, spend a little more time reviewing the resources and practice materials on the course site. Then we'll continue this lesson in our next video.
Welcome to our next module, Write a Proposal and Get Results. I'm Leah Truria, and I'll be your instructor for this module. To begin, I'd like to tell you a quick story. One day, around lunchtime, I was at my desk wondering about what to eat when I heard a knock on the door. When I opened it, a smiling person handed me a box of sandwiches and said,
"I hope you and your coworkers enjoy these,"
and handed me his card. As we chatted, I learned that he had opened his own sandwich shop just down the street and that he was looking forward to having us as customers. His visit with his complimentary sandwiches was just like a proposal. And that's what a proposal does, but in writing. It gets you results, or in the sandwich guy's case, it got him new customers. Like this, a proposal may be your first introduction to a new client, or it can be a response to a request by a customer, or someone in your company where you work. In this module, we'll look at how to organize a proposal and how to write it clearly and actively so that the reader knows that you, your service, or your ideas are the best choice. What we'll focus on this lesson are the 3 essential parts of every proposal. Number 1, state the problem. Number 2, provide the solution. And number 3, highlight your qualifications. Let's look at each of those parts to see how you can develop proposals and get positive results. First, state the problem. Show your readers that you know the problems they face and send the message that you are thinking about them. That way, you will grab their attention. Let's look at the sample of a proposal from a wedding photography service. Your wedding day is a day that you want to cherish forever. So it's a day that requires the perfect photographer. It's your day, and the last thing you need to worry about is your photographer. But choosing that perfect person is the challenge. Does this describe a problem? Yes. This is a clear and straightforward statement about the situations all couples face when they start planning their weddings. But they don't have the expertise to do it. They need help, and this statement makes them feel confident that the writer understands them and can help them. In order to be able to state the problem, you have to know it. So before you write your proposal, you need to do some market research. As you do, the questions that you ask your clients, community contacts, coworkers, and the answers you get will give you the information you need to write a strong problem statement. You can ask questions like, what is your goal? What are the difficulties? When do you need to get started? How fast do you need this done? What is your number 1 priority? Going back to our last example, this part reflects the answer to this question, and this part reflects the answer to this question. Now that you've stated the problem, your next step is to provide the solution. In this part of the proposal, you describe your product, service, or idea and explain how it can resolve the reader's problem. For example, it can save them money. It can help them attract new customers. It can make their big event perfect. It can help their businesses be more efficient. Whatever the problem is, you can help them solve it. Let's look at a sample solution section now, this time from a website developer. At ABC Design, we are proud to create websites for our local businesses. Our web design and development team builds attractive, interactive, and easy-to-run, easy-to-use websites. We'll have yours ready when you need it at a price you can afford. When you state your solution like this, readers will also feel confident about you and your services, and they'll be open to your solution. Let's do a review of what active writing looks like. Which one is active and clear? A. Most of the work will be accomplished according to your schedule. B. Our team will complete the work on time, when you want it. If you picked B, you are correct. Why don't you try writing your own active and clear sentence stating a service you provide? Now, let's look at the third essential part of every proposal. Highlight your qualifications. In this section, you clearly state important facts and figures about you or your company. This can include information about years of experience, reliability, and reputation. Here are some examples. We have photographed weddings for over 10 years. We keep costs down and maximize your budget, whether it's $1,000 or $10,000. Our staff of writers, designers, and site developers have created and built more than 300 unique websites. We have over 500,000 downloads since we launched our first app. Our hundreds of happy customers are our best publicity. You try this time. Let's review what we looked at in this lesson. Our main focus was how to organize a proposal so that we can get positive results. Do you remember the 3 key components to a good proposal? That's right. Number 1, state the problem. Number 2, provide the solution. And number 3, highlight your qualifications. In our next lesson, we'll look at more ways to write actively by focusing on verb tense and parallel structure. Don't miss it. I'll see you again soon. Welcome to our next lesson in Module 2. This lesson will focus on grammar. We are going to look at the 3 key components of active clear writing: verb tense, parallel structure, and subject-verb agreement. Reviewing these grammar forms will not only help you with your proposal writing, but with all other business writing situations. First, let's look at verb tense. When we use the word tense, we are talking about time: the present, the past, and the future. And while we have 12 verb tenses in English, we most often just use 3 simple tenses. Let's look at the documents we most commonly write with each type of tense. The simple present is used to present statements that are generally true and to talk about usual habits and routines. Therefore, we use the simple present for documents like company descriptions, mission statements, and proposals. We also use the simple present for writing emails, rules, or procedures for your business. For example, our company serves thousands of customers every year. We have solutions to each of the challenges you face. Clients expect the most efficient services possible. Next, simple past is used for documents that describe something that has already happened. Therefore, we use it when we write a report about a meeting that took place, a year-end progress report, or when we describe past achievements in a cover letter or proposal. For example, we served thousands of customers last year. Business increased and profits rose last month. Our clients reported excellent results with our new app. And finally, we use the simple future for documents that describe something that will happen, like a video. Our clients reported excellent results with our new app. And finally, we use the simple future for documents that describe something that will happen, like a vision statement, proposal, or contract. For example, we will serve thousands of customers next year. You will work more efficiently. Our design will save money and achieve your goals. It's important to remember that for most business writing, you use the simple tenses, not the progressive tenses that have the ing in the verbs. We call this type of tense progressive because these verbs are used to describe activities in progress or happening right at a certain moment. For example, I am teaching you grammar right now. You are watching a video right now. You were logging into your course site a little while ago. While we use progressive tenses often when we speak, we don't when we write. Understanding verb tenses and using them accurately takes a lot of time to master for many people. So don't just rely on this short grammar lesson, but practice on your own through additional resources I've provided in our course site. as well as through your own writing practice. Now, let's look at the next component of active, clear writing, parallel structure. This is a funny term, but a very important one for a writer, and it's one of the most common areas where writers make mistakes. So, let's try to understand it better. Parallel structure is used when we connect different parts of a sentence with the connecting words and, but, and or. Imagine two parallel lines like this. Now imagine a connecting word in between. The lines still remain parallel. This is how your sentence needs to look through the word forms you choose. Let's look at some examples to make this clearer for you. Here, nouns are parallel with nouns. We always consider cost, time, and efficiency in our estimates. And in this one, adjectives are parallel with other adjectives. Our estimates are accurate, detailed, and thorough. Here's an example of phrases that are parallel. Customer service is available in the morning and in the afternoon. Let's do some practice together. How does this sentence look? We focus on research and developing of new solutions. Is the structure parallel? That's right. This sentence is not parallel. In this sentence, research is a noun, so we need another noun after it. So the correct parallel structure would look like this. We focus on research and development of new solutions. Let's try another one. Researching and development of new solutions is our goal. In this sentence, researching is an ing noun, so we need another ing noun after it. Researching and developing new solutions is our goal. This time, I want you to try on your own. Just like you keep your nouns and adjectives parallel, you must also keep verb tenses and modals parallel like these examples. Whether our customers order on our website or shop in our store, they receive efficient service. We can review your design requirements and can produce a plan for you. Finally, let's look at complex sentences in the 3 types of clauses we discussed in Module 1. As you write more and add clauses to your sentences, remember to keep all the clauses parallel. Noun clause with noun clause. We know what you want and how to provide it. Adjective clause with adjective clause. We have a new product which is larger, which is more colorful, and which is priced right. An adverb clause with adverb clause. Because our products are reliable and because our service is outstanding, our customers return year after year. You want to be aware of and check for parallel structure in all of your sentences, because when you don't have it, your sentences just won't sound right. So read your documents out loud and listen for parallel structures when you proofread your writing. Take a minute now to quiz yourself on parallel structure. Let's quickly review what we've learned. In this lesson, we looked at verb tense and parallel structure, 2 of the key components in all of your business communications. To keep your writing active and clear, be aware of what type of document you will be writing and select the right tense for the time period you're writing about. Keep all the words, phrases, and clauses connected with and, but, and or. Finally, read your sentences out loud and listen for parallel structure. In the next video, we'll look at another key component of active clear writing, subject-verb agreement. See you soon. Welcome back to our lesson. This time, we'll look at subject-verb agreement, which is an especially important and sometimes challenging component of active clear writing. First, I want you to imagine reading something in your language and finding a big mistake repeated over and over. Annoying, right? This is how English speakers react when they read a sentence with subject-verb agreement mistakes. So, what is it? Subject-verb agreement means the subject and verb match. For example, the manager meets with us once a week versus the managers meet with us once a week. If you look at the first example, meet has an S ending. This is because the sentence has a singular subject, manager. When a sentence has a singular subject, such as he, she, it, or any other singular noun, the verb must end in S. And when it doesn't, it sounds very unnatural and is often very annoying to the listener. This is the most common error that writers make. They leave off that final S on simple present verbs when the subject is he, she, it, or any other singular noun. You want to think about this and always check that it is correct in everything you write. You do not want to annoy your readers. Now, let's look at some more examples. Each of these sentences has a subject-verb agreement mistake. Can you find them? Our designer create custom designs for you. She work every evening until 8. Our billing department contact customers monthly. He bill our clients monthly. Yes, each of the verbs in these sentences is missing the final S. Let's practice together. Let's look at these sentences. Which one has the correct subject-verb agreement? A. Our boss require all employees attend weekly training sessions. B. He operates heavy machinery. That's right, it's B. And what about with these sentences? Which one has correct subject-verb agreement? A. The customer service department surveys callers regularly. B. The new train run every 10 minutes. This time, the correct sentence is A, with an S ending, for surveys. So, here's the most important subject-verb agreement rule. If the subject is singular, the verb is singular with an S at the end of it. This problem has a solution. An intern works to gain experience. My employee greets every customer. This is also true when sentences do not have the usual subject-verb pattern. Phrases between a subject and verb do not change the verb. For example, our downtown office, as well as our suburban ones, reports to our headquarters. In this sentence, the subject is still our downtown office, which is singular. So you have to use reports. Let's look at this one. All of our offices around the city report to our headquarters. Here, the subject is all of our offices, which is plural, so report with no S. I want to add a quick note here. For most verbs, we just add S to make them singular, but the spelling changes for other verbs. For example, this machine mixes different ingredients. Mix headquarters. In this sentence, the subject is still our downtown office, which is singular. So you have to use reports. Let's look at this one. All of our offices around the city report to our headquarters. Here, the subject is all of our offices, which is plural, so report with no S. I want to add a quick note here. For most verbs, we just add S to make them singular, but the spelling changes for other verbs. For example, this machine mixes different ingredients. Mix becomes mixes. Our pilot flies the plane daily. Fly becomes flies. His assistant goes to the shop daily. Go becomes goes. You'll find more information about these spelling changes in the resource materials. Like I said, this is a common mistake, so I encourage you to review and practice it so you'll always get it right. Now, let's look at some other common subject-verb agreement rules to remember and check for when you write. These expressions are always singular. One of my customers visits me daily. Every proposal includes a budget. Everyone in our stores greets customers politely. Each of our employees wears a name tag. Distance, time, weight, and money expressions always take a singular verb. $10 kilometers equals 6 miles. $50 is a good price for this product. Non-count nouns and gerunds, or ing nouns, also always take a singular verb. English is a world language. Billing occurs weekly. I'm going to let you practice on your own this time. Let's review. We've reached the end of Lesson 2 in this module. We've focused on several important grammar points to keep your writing active and clear. In this video, you learned how to use correct subject-verb agreement. First, find your subject. If the subject is he, she, it, or any other singular noun, add S to the verb. Next, be aware of the rules for subject-verb agreement with different expressions. There are many different rules that we covered in this lesson, so be sure to review and practice before beginning the module assessment. Our next module will be with Amalia, but I'll be back in Module 4. See you next time.
Welcome to Module 3. In this module, you'll learn about and practice writing 2 documents important for all kinds of businesses, processes and reports. An important focus throughout this module will be on organizing your writing so your sentences connect smoothly and your documents are easy to read and understand. There are 3 lessons in this module. In Lesson 1, we'll look at how we connect ideas from one sentence to the next when we write. In Lesson 2, we'll look at the structures we use to organize and write a process. And in Lesson 3, we'll look at the parts of a paragraph to write clear and easy-to-read reports. Let's begin Lesson 1 with a brief look at what a report is and why it's important in business communications. Then we'll focus on the steps you can take to develop easy-to-read reports. At its most basic level, business people write reports to share information. Their reports can be about any aspect of the business they need to share with the people they work with. These can include project reports, annual reports, and survey reports. As in all business communications, reports feature clear, direct sentences and a focus on the reader. And connecting the sentences in ways that make them easy to read and to understand is key to this clear, direct writing. Here are 4 ways we do this. We repeat key words and phrases. We use consistent pronouns. We add transition words and phrases, and we arrange our sentences in a logical order. Let's look at each of these separately. First, repeat key words and phrases. When we do this, we make it easy for the reader to know what the most important words in our text are. Here are sentences from a sample report. Look at the words that are repeated. By repeating the key words, the writer makes the most important information clear to the reader. Next, to connect sentences, we use consistent pronouns. This includes both personal pronouns like you, your, they, their, and them, and the demonstrative pronouns, this, that, these, and those. It also includes demonstrative adjectives like this result, that result, these results, those results. Here are the same sentences. Notice the highlighted words. What does each refer to? Our refers to ABC Company. Their and they to employees, and these refers to the printers in the survey. By using consistent pronouns, we eliminate wordiness and ensure that the sentences in any text connect more smoothly. The third way we connect sentences in a text is to add transition words and phrases. Do you remember when we practiced using transition words? Yes, we looked at them in Module 1 when we were creating compound sentences. In English, we have many of these because they are transition words? Yes, we looked at them in Module 1 when we were creating compound sentences. In English, you remember when we practiced using transition words? Yes, we looked at them in Module 1 when we were creating compound sentences. In English, we have many of these because they are so helpful for readers. Let's look at some examples. Our downtown office is centrally located and fully staffed. Additionally, it's easy to reach on public transportation or by car. We feature consistent, competent customer service. In other words, our skilled employees are always available to answer your questions. The survey pointed out inconsistencies in our procedures. As a result, we made many changes. As you can see in these examples, you can use transition words within a compound sentence as well as at the beginning of a new one. Let's replace these transition words with new ones. Which of these can you add to the sentences? Yes, moreover works best in this sentence. For this one, that is to say is the answer. Consequently, should be used here. Transition words are for this one, that is to say is the answer. Consequently, should be used here. Transition words are a valuable tool for you as writers, so practice using them every day and try to include a few in every email or document you write. Check out our resource materials to see a full list of transition words that you can start using today. Finally, we connect sentences by arranging them in a logical order. This can be sequence order when we explain a process, group or type order when we classify or compare information, and order of importance when we give reasons or effects. Logical order is critical to helping readers understand our writing. If our sentences are not in order, our document won't make sense. Let's look at an article about Amazon. Amazon has developed what it describes as the world's most advanced shopping technology, Amazon Go. The technology works via an app on a shopper's mobile device. Basically, the app automatically checks in when shoppers enter the store. People can shop as usual, and the app scans what they bought as they leave the store. What happens if the order of those sentences is changed? This new paragraph is not clear and less easy to find the main idea and the details that support it. This is because it is not in logical order. Therefore, maintaining logical order is one of the essential ways to connect sentences in any text. Let's review. In this lesson, we looked at 4 ways writers can connect sentences in reports and other documents. These are repeat keywords and phrases, use consistent pronouns, add transition words and phrases, and arrange sentences in a logical order. By using these 4 key ways to connect your sentences, you will create documents that are easy for your readers to read and to understand. Check out the resource materials, start using what you've learned here in your writing, and I'll see you in our next lesson. Welcome back. In this next lesson, we'll look at what a business process is and the language structures we use to organize and write one. During this lesson, you'll write a process, and then you'll use that same process in the report you write at the end of Lesson 3. All workers, starting from the brand new employee to the boss, want their work to go smoothly and easily. In business, one way to make that happen is to create processes and write them down. For our purposes, a process is a specific way to complete a task important to the business we do. It shows everyone how to do the task. Here are some typical business processes. How to open a store at the start of the day, operate office equipment, bill clients, respond to customer complaints, evacuate in an emergency. So here's why writing the process is important. A written process ensures that everyone knows how best to do it, makes it easy to do the same way each time, and eliminates confusion. And often, after businesses develop a process, they also write a report about it to share with all their employees. What processes you need to create and write depend on your business, but every process includes a clear beginning, well-defined steps, and a task completed. Before you write a process, there's one important step, doing some research. This takes time, but is well worth the effort. Many people may end up relying on this process, so you want to make sure it's put together as accurately as possible. To start, you can think about these questions. What do people call the process? Who does it? When do they do it? What equipment or supplies do they use? What are all the things people do during the process? Once you have recorded all the steps, you can decide which are important, which work best, and which you can delete. Then you can begin to put them in order and test them out. Now you're ready to write out the official process in step-by-step or sequence order. As we learned in the last lesson, Logical order makes every document easy to read and understand. So I'm going to write out a process for what we just talked about. This is what it would look like. 1. Review how you and others currently do the tasks. 2. Write everything down. 3. Decide on the necessary steps. 4. Put the steps in order. 5. Test the process out. 6. Write the process. And the way I wrote that process is the way we write every process. We use imperatives and sequence or chronological order. We write imperatives using the simple base form of a verb at the beginning of the sentence. There is no written subject. In an imperative, the subject is always you, so it's understood, and you don't write it. For negative imperative, use don't, plus the simple form of the verb, as in these examples. Good. You don't write it. For negative imperative, use don't, plus the simple form of the verb, as in these examples. For compound sentences, use the imperative form of the verb with no subject, but still use commas and a conjunction, usually and, or, but, or so. Contact the client and set the date. Use room 112 or find a larger office if necessary. Have a good time, but be safe. Processes are always in chronological or sequence order. You can write processes using numbers only, 1, 2, 3, or first, second, third, and so on. Or you can use sequencing words or phrases like these: first, next, after that, then, finally. By putting the steps in clear sequence order, you make the process easy to understand and complete. Now, let's review. A business process is a clearly defined, step-by-step way to complete a specific task. In business, we need these clear processes to operate efficiently and smoothly. Here is the way I recommended to create a written process in the workplace. First, review how you and others currently do the tasks. Next, write everything down. After that, decide on the necessary steps. Then, put the steps in order. After that, test the process. Finally, write the process. The language structures we use for writing processes are the imperative verb form and numbers, words, or phrases that clearly show the sequence order. Now, take some time and write down a process and numbers, words, or phrases that clearly show the sequence order. Now, take some time and write down a process you use often in your work. Try to get feedback from others to see if the steps in your process have a clear logical order and is easy to read. In our next lesson, we're going to see how you can take that process and turn it into a report in paragraph form. See you soon.
Welcome to Module 4, Write and Design Powerful Slides for Powerful Presentations. A good presentation would not be as powerful without a well-designed set of visual slides. So in this module, we'll look at how to organize PowerPoint slides and how to write and design effective slides in Lesson 1. And in Lesson 2, we'll look at some of the trickier parts of English using articles, on, the, and count and non-count nouns correctly and effectively in the text we write for slides and other business documents. Let's begin with our first lesson. Why include slides when you're making a presentation? I'm sure that most of you have sat through a presentation and felt confused or bored. I know I have. This can happen when slides are hard to read, confusing, or just repeat everything the speaker says. But slides with text, visuals, and graphics that illustrate and add to your message enhance a presentation and help keep your audience focused and engaged. So, if you plan well, effective slides will add to your presentation. Let's start by looking at 2 slides from the beginning of a presentation and choose which would catch your interest. The slide you picked probably caught your interest and engaged you, while the other seemed less clear and boring. So how do you avoid boring, confusing slide presentations? First, organize your slides so your listeners will focus on you and your message. An easy, efficient way to do this is to organize your slides in 3 parts. An opening section of 1 or 2 slides, a content section with all the slides you need to illustrate the main points of your talk, and a closing section with, again, just 1 or 2 slides. You should not include a slide for everything you say. Rather, include slides only to highlight your most important points and to add clarity through explanatory text or visuals. As you're speaking, you might say, "We offer website and social media services to many of our local retailers and service businesses." But on the actual slide, your text will simply say, "What we do," and illustrate your services with a picture or 2. Now let's look at how to write your best text possible. As you have learned and practiced throughout this course, the best business writing is brief, clear, and direct. This is especially true for presentation slides. You do not want to read your slides to the audience like a script. To make this happen, I recommend you only put short, concise lines of text, with no more than 5 or 6 words per line. Therefore, you must choose the words for your slides very carefully and only include the most informative. At times, you will need to delete some words from your text. Let's try doing this together. Here's something you might say in a presentation. Over the last 5 years, we have helped more than 50 local businesses create dynamic websites which have increased their sales and maximized their profits. Now think about the most important words to keep on your slide and delete the rest. The sentence on your slide might look like this: websites increase sales and maximize profits. How do you think we can shorten this one? As we help you successfully navigate social media, you'll find your business and profits growing with each new post or tweet. Again, here's the shorter version in 6 words. At other times, you may not include any text at all and just add a picture or graphic that is relevant to your topic. Another way to ensure that your text is clear and easy to understand is to have parallel structures when you include a list on a slide. Non-parallel structure is especially confusing and hard to read. So keep nouns with nouns, verbs with verbs, phrases with phrases, and sentences with sentences. Can you spot where this slide gets confusing? That's right. The third bullet point starts with a verb, unlike the other 2. So all of a sudden, the list of services may sound confusing. Equally confusing and embarrassing on slides are spelling and capitalization errors, especially of names and other proper nouns. In general, it's also helpful to capitalize key words in your titles in the first word of every line in a list. Now let's talk about slide design. Once you have prepared your text and organized your slides, you need to think about how your slides will look. A simple, clean design is the best way to make your information stand out and to keep your viewers focused and interested. Just as you want to avoid too many words, you also want to avoid too many different design elements. These include font styles, sizes, and colors, as well as graphic items like bullets, numbers, boxes, and arrows. Let's look at each of those separately. First, font style. It's best to choose one type style, preferably sans serif font like Arial or Helvetica, with clean lines and no extra details on the letters. These are easy to read on screen and won't distract the listener or reader from understanding your message. Next, size. While you can use different sizes of type on a slide, avoid having more than 2 or 3 type sizes per page. Font size for slides generally ranges from about 20 to 40 points. However, no matter what size you choose, avoid text with all uppercase letters as these are hard to read. This time, let's talk about color. For a slide to be easy to read, dark text on a light background works best. Avoid using contrasting colors because this combination will make everything look unclear. For example, avoid using purple and orange together, or red and green. Also, be selective when you add graphic items like bullets, numbers, boxes, and arrows. These can be very distracting if you have too many variations. Choose just 1 or 2 of these items to use throughout your presentations. Most importantly, you want your design to be consistent. In other words, keep your font styles, sizes, and colors, as well as your graphic elements consistent on each slide. Remember, the slides are there to enhance your presentation, not confuse it. It's time to review. In this lesson, we looked at how you can effectively include slides to enhance your presentations. First, organize your slides in 3 parts: 1 or 2 opening slides, content slides with visuals, and minimal text, and a closing slide. Next, keep your text concise, parallel, and accurate. Choose the words you put on slides carefully. Check every list for parallel structure and proofread your spelling and capitalization thoroughly. Finally, keep your slides consistent and your design simple. Use a sans serif font, only 2 to 3 different sizes on a slide, dark type on light backgrounds, and 1 or 2 graphic items. By following these guidelines, you can create powerful slides and powerful presentations. In our next lesson, we'll take a look at some grammar points that many international English users find very tricky: articles and count and non-count nouns. I look forward to our next lesson. See you soon. Welcome to Lesson 2 in Write and Design Powerful Slides for Powerful Presentations. In this lesson, we'll look at 2 grammar items that can be particularly challenging for writers in English: how to identify and use different types of nouns correctly, and how to choose articles and other modifiers to use with those nouns. Using articles and expressions of quantity can be confusing and cause problems when you write. Even on presentation slides, it's very noticeable when they are not used correctly. So you want to be careful when you use them and avoid problems for your readers. Let's look at ways to do that. Before we choose the article that we want to use with a noun, we have to decide what kind of noun it is. Is it count or non-count? So we'll begin this lesson by looking at count and non-count nouns. Count nouns, the majority of nouns, are easy. As you know, nouns represent people, places, and things. Any noun that you can count, 1, 2, 100, 300, is a count noun. Count nouns can be singular or plural. 1 new customer walks in the store every hour. 200 customers shop here every day. A noun that you cannot count is a non-count noun. Non-count nouns are always singular. How do we decide if a noun is count or non-count? That's the trick. As English speakers, you are already using lots of non-count nouns when you speak and write. Here are a list of some nouns. Which ones are non-count nouns? These are non-count. That means that these words cannot be used in the plural form. The more you speak, read, and write in English, these are non-count. That means that these words cannot be used in the plural form. The more you speak, read, and write in English, the more familiar you'll become with non-count nouns. But there are ways to classify non-count nouns that can help you decide if a noun is non-count. A very common non-count classification is whole groups. So while a desk, a chair, and a table are count nouns, the name of the group they belong to, furniture, is non-count. Other groups include jewelry, machinery, management, traffic, and money. Abstract concepts are another large classification. There are many of these, including courage, intelligence, luck, peace, and advice, and they are all non-count nouns. Solids, liquids, gases, and particles can also be non-count nouns. Gold, silver, and wood are solids. Water, oil, and blood are liquids. Air, smoke, pollution, oxygen are gases, and rice, sand, dust, and dirt are particles. Activities can also be non-count. These include work, homework, reading, writing, and exercise. Finally, natural events like weather, lightning, thunder, sunshine, and heat are non-count. As I mentioned earlier, non-count nouns are finally natural events like weather, lightning, thunder, sunshine, and heat are non-count. As I mentioned earlier, non-count nouns are always singular, and as I hope you remember from our look at subject-verb agreement in Module 2, singular nouns require a singular verb. That includes non-count nouns. So when you include non-count nouns in your slides and other writing, be sure that they have singular verbs. And what about these sentences? Are they correct? B and C are correct, but A is wrong. Management is non-count, and so want needs an S at the end. Let's look at some more sentences. Now that we understand nouns better, we're going to take a look at the articles. Once you know if a noun is count or non-count, you can choose whether to use an article, an expression of quantity, or nothing with it. So, how do we do that? We'll look at singular count nouns first. Every time you use a singular count noun, you must put an article or something else before it. Singular count nouns never appear alone. Let's look at choosing among the articles. A or un is an easy choice. A and un basically means one. We use un with singular count nouns that begin with a vowel. That's A, E, I, O, and U. And a with other singular count nouns. She's a customer. He's a manager. If you want to add adjectives with your nouns, put the article in front of the adjective like this. She's a valuable customer. He's a good manager. Now, what's the difference between using a, un, or the? Generally, we use a or un the first time you mention the noun or when it is not specific. Also use a or un when you are giving a definition or making a general statement. Use the once the noun becomes specific. Let's look at some more sentences and you can try adding a, un, or the. A client asked for a new proposal. The client is in New York and wants the proposal soon. We ordered a new computer. The computer arrived today. Let's look at some more sentences and you can try adding a, un, or the. Next, let's look at plural count nouns. Do we ever use a or un with plural count nouns? No, never. Often, the first time we mention plural count nouns, we use no article, like this. Customers visit our website every day. Employees respond quickly to requests and problems. The customers expect a variety of shopping options. The employees in our main office handle thousands of requests monthly. Now, let's look at non-count nouns. Do we have a variety of shopping options? The employees in our main office handle thousands of requests monthly. Now, let's look at non-count nouns. Do we ever use a or un with non-count nouns? No, never. And also, like plural count nouns, the first time we mention non-count nouns, we use no article. But like singular and plural count nouns, once the noun is specific, we add the. Money makes money. The money is in the bank. Work here is efficient and productive. The work we do is important. The last thing we'll look at is how we use expressions of quantity with nouns. Expressions of quantity describe amounts. We use them with both count and non-count nouns. All of the computers feature excellent software. All of the software is up to date and easy to use. None of the stores are open after 10 p.m. None of the furniture requires special care. When you use these expressions, watch out for subject-verb agreement. Remember that non-count always uses a singular verb form. Why don't you give it a try? Choose the correct verb in the following sentences. Well done! Now it's time to review. In this lesson, we looked at how to identify and use different types of nouns correctly, and how to choose articles and other expressions of quantity to use with the nouns. When using these modifiers, follow these guidelines. Number 1, decide if a noun is count or non-count. Number 2, count nouns can be singular or plural. Non-count nouns are always singular. Number 3, use an article or something else before all singular count nouns. Number 4, use a and an the first time you mention the noun or when it is not specific. Use the second time you mention the name, once the noun becomes specific. Number 5, use expressions of quantity to describe both count and non-count nouns. Number 6, check your slides and other documents carefully for accuracy. This is our last lesson in this module and the end of our course, Better Business Writing in English. As with all of our modules, I urge you to review the resource materials and plan and write your final assessment carefully. Amalia and I have really enjoyed teaching this course. We hope that you've learned enough through this course to help you improve your business English writing right away. And we wish you lots of success as you continue to write in English to build your businesses and your careers. Thank you and goodbye from all of us at the Georgia Tech Language Institute.